Welcome to the Brokers Open Podcast. Today we talk lead gen with the master, Jason Lamson. We dive deep in how to better convert leads, how to up your lead percentage, how to dive deeper into relationships, and most importantly, how to have better conversations with your clients. Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by our friends at Palm Media. Palm Media is a boutique digital marketing company built for realtors by realtors. They help agents and teams dominate a target market with specific tailored strategies. Everything from video, chatbots, landing pages, Facebook ads, database management, and coaching. And oh my gosh, it's way more affordable and simple than you can ever imagine. Call now for a 100% free strategy session, whether you have a budget or not. Dr. Ben, my good friend, will make sure that you are heading in the right direction and building your presence online or flat out crushing your competition. Before you spend a dime on marketing, door knocking, or sending out postcards, call Palm Media, 813-765-7706. I repeat, 813-765-7706, or click the link on the description below and manifest your paradise.
All right.
Welcome, gang.
Go. Friday morning, man. Absolutely love Friday mornings. Always looking forward to them.
I always wake up with a little more pep in my step.
I know, right?
I hate mornings, so.
So we made Jason come on here. This is Jason Lamson for everybody who doesn't know. He is definitely the brains behind the operation for...
Every time that we talk about the brains and how much Palm Media is doing and the things happening behind the scenes, this is who we're talking about.
Ben's
so we
going to love
get him
that.
on this side of the camera.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so I think so that makes that makes Ben the talent and makes you the what?
Well, I just said last night that I'm the better looking, smarter half, so I don't know what's left over. But I'll let you guys decide.
You're at an unfair advantage because you're 2 of 2 and Ben was 1 of 2. So this is enjoyable. What we our plan today is to talk a lot about leads.
Yep.
And you know, Matt and I had some good dialogue on that before turning live here, and it was just a natural instinct to want to have Jason on today. So he is our...
So we dragged him out from behind the camera.
Prescribed listener.
You know, we've had some requests about leads and people, saying, how did some of the people generate leads that were on here before? And because we want this to be helpful, of course, to entrepreneurs in general, not just real estate folks.
Yeah.
We want to get it out there about how some of the stuff that happens with leads to make sure you can convert them in higher probability, because now everybody seems to be in the lead business, right? Everybody promises everybody in real estate and everything else. It's all about the promise of the lead, and so we want to try to tackle that a little bit and hopefully be helpful.
Yeah,
and
lead gens across the board. Any industry
Absolutely.
can deal with leads.
Absolutely. Right, and you ready to help us out with that?
Absolutely.
How's it going, bro?
I'm ready to crush some dreams.
I like it. I like it.
Hold on, I got to start off with a little joke. I found this hilarious joke today. I got a couple, actually. Is it cool? Don't read them.
Dude, I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself.
Wife to husband, it's our wedding anniversary in a week, darling. How do you think we should celebrate? Husband's response, with a moment of silence.
Wow. Well,
that was a good one.
51% of the people that listen are going to like that.
All right, this is me at an interview. In the beginning, you'll be earning $20,000. Later on, it can go up to $40,000. Okay, I'll come back later then. These are just the dumbest jokes I thought were hilarious this morning. And now that I'm saying them, they're ridiculous.
Oh,
Here,
man.
one more. More. What's the difference between boom, ah, and ah, boom? Do we know?
No.
The difference is whether you're falling from the 1st or the 10th floor.
Good point.
That was pretty good.
I found those great.
All right, so you went to the concert in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
Eric Church. If you have not seen Eric Church, I don't care if you like country music or not. The guy is an entertainer. I mean, that is probably top 3 or 4 concerts I've ever been to.
That's what you said.
He didn't have anybody open for him.
Right.
He had one 10-minute intermission in between. He played 33 straight songs.
Wow.
You said, so tell me about the guitars. You said he got out there and...
Oh, it was insane. Yeah. So every single song, he had a new guitar brought out to him.
That's
so each one went in, bang out the acoustic. I don't know the difference between all his different like crazy guitars, but I mean, to make that show happen was so unreal. And I was probably like 12 rows back from the floor, but it was like eye height with Eric Church. I thought he was singing to me.
All right.
I think he was.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Or maybe your wife, because your wife was with you, right?
Yeah, my wife was with me.
That's
yeah.
probably more. That's more probable. Katrina's
You don't
getting
do all
songs
the
like
all
that.
the CrossFit and everything for nothing.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you
He
got
does
to
it for
get
Eric
it in church. The dude is awesome. And all right, so this is cool. So we're in the lobby of this big arena, and Eric Church has his own boots, right? I look at my wife. Oh, this is great. Let me go look at these boots. Not like I'm gonna wear cowboy boots, right now, or whatever.
You got them.
No.
You got the.
You know where they start? They're like $800 to
Welcome to
$1,200 for boots.
Welcome to Boots, man.
Judas
Well done.
Priest.
Entrepreneurship.
Hey, where you been, man?
Oh man! and if this on the bottom of the sole
Hey.
is his song lyrics, and if they wear out, he guarantees you'll get another pair.
Oh, that's badass.
But shout out to Eric Church, fantastic. It was in Chicago, time of my life. Anyway,
Nice.
love that city.
Good, good. I knew you had a great time, and
Yeah.
wanted to bring that up. And I figured you went to a comedy club too, so I figured that's where the joke segment came in.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm just like so inspired right now. I mean, the guy that we were at the comedy club with was just freaking hilarious.
Well, yeah, you got to get some comedy when you're in Chicago.
Yeah, it was a world famous place.
Stand up,
They knocked
yeah.
it out. It was great.
Yeah, and if they arrest you, you get off. Even if there's like 16 counts, you're still going to get off if they arrest you in
Whoa.
Chicago,
Yeah,
right?
it
Oh, hey.
yeah. Yeah. Thanks,
Hey,
Jussie.
You threw jokes out. I get
Yeah, that was a better joke though. All right, lead gen.
So let's talk about leads. So a couple of the questions that we got, so a lot of people go on to realtor.com and Zillow and join certain companies because of leads and want things from Facebook and all that kind of stuff. The biggest thing that I think that we run into is the expectation of what happens with a lead when you get it. And so everyone that we've talked to up until this point, and this is probably why these questions were coming up, everyone that we've talked to has talked about being authentic and connecting with right. And so as their business grew, it was not because they just had a higher volume of leads, but
Right.
because they were able to convert
At a higher level.
at a higher level.
Yeah.
And so part of the conversion comes from the quality of the lead to begin with, and also the follow through.
Yeah.
And so that's what I want to make sure that we talk about, because two people can get the same exact lead,
Right.
and both of them might not convert it,
Yeah.
or one might convert it, or both. I mean, so what's the difference? I mean, you help a lot of people generate a lot of business, right? So
Well,
what's the difference?
Right when I first met Ben and Jason, their lead conversion was somewhere internet lead conversion was somewhere drifting around 10%.
Those are Realtor.com leads, yeah.
And the national average is generally 1% or less.
Yeah.
So
Huge.
go into yours and Ben's strategy on that, because you guys hit home runs on this.
Well, I think it all starts with like your business philosophy, and it goes way back. And so I know we're talking about leads, but we tell people all the time, like, you got to be an entrepreneur, you got to be a realtor, and you got to be a consumer. You have to think with the brain and the eyeballs of a consumer, right? You have to put yourself in their shoes. So the first thing you need to know is like what kind of lead is being generated. That's my number one problem, with Palm Media, is communicating to agents, like what kind of leads these are and like what to do with them and what to expect from these leads. That's like I'm over communicating all the time. And so with like Realtor.com, it's a platform by platform like strategy. You can't just apply one strategy to all platforms.
Right.
Like
Agreed.
if we have open houses and we generate leads for open houses, we don't even have the same strategy for the same type of leads. We have different strategies for nosy neighbors. We have different
Absolutely.
strategies for
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
buyers. We have different strategies for sellers. And it's like, how do you know? Well, you ask.
Right. You got to look through the consumer's eyes, like you just said. Yeah.
Right.
We find out what they're doing there. We try to build a relationship. It's always about rapport, but for us, it's never a wasted meeting with anyone. We can meet someone on the side of the street, and we're qualifying them,
Right.
because we're trying, and this might sound bad, but we're trying to get as much as we can out of every single person in response, so we can give as much as we can in value. So that's it.
But you do it in like I've seen that live and in person, but you do it in such a way that is like it's a nice, gentle way. It doesn't feel
genuine.
like you're, yeah.
It's genuine.
Yeah.
I heard somebody, so of course we digest a whole bunch of stuff education wise, all of us do, right? And so I heard something on YouTube, was watching a video, and the guy was talking about converting open house leads, and I try to. I mean, all of us do. We try to learn as much as we can. We don't expect whenever we watch or listen to something that we're going to get 3 hours worth of great stuff out of it. We're looking for that nugget. And as we were going through it, it just resounded how disingenuous some people can be in what they do. And so whenever people talk about having a script with what they say, I mean, this guy is exactly what they were talking about. In the first 3 lines of what he's teaching people to say, it's a lie.
Yeah.
And I mean, it isn't about being genuine. It's not about connecting. It's not about being real. That's what people are terrified about from salespeople.
Well, you know how they say records are made to be broken?
Yeah.
Well, same thing with scripts. Like, as
That's
soon as you have this script down and you kind of understand why it's scripted that way, immediately go after it.
Right.
Go away from it as soon as you have a detour in the conversation. Like, don't be so rigid in the scripts
Right.
that you're not a normal person. Like,
Right.
Oh, man.
it's such a turnoff.
Right.
It is big time. And that is shoved down people's throats. I remember when I first started out, like, I was shoved, different scripts. And every time you have a conversation with somebody, you got to bring up like these rigid questions.
Right.
And I'm like sitting there like, I feel so awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand why new agents and experienced agents alike have that fear of lead gen and following up with leads.
Absolutely.
Because that's their freaking experience
Yeah.
with it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
And the truth is, everybody has a script. I mean, the reality is, if you've been in sales, there's certain things you say and certain stories you tell and certain conversations you have. So everybody kind of has a script. So part of the problem is, and you said this in the very beginning, are you coming from an honest, genuine place that's looking at helping the consumer? And if you are, the script that you come up with is going to be a fantastic script because of where you started from, which is what I love about you guys at Palm Media. I mean, they're coming from a genuine place to start with, and so what they help people say and how they help them say it and the conversations and the conversion is really about what's best for the customer.
Right.
So I absolutely love that. But
Yeah, so the difference of something that we do, leveraging Facebook, and like what Realtor.com does, it's completely different, right? We're finding people at another spot in their sales process. So we're turning up the lead gen and the opportunity like up to 11 and just allowing people to be like relationship experts.
Right.
And we're putting them in that position and telling them to be in that position. That doesn't lead to quick, fast, easy sales.
Right.
So like for Realtor.com, you can get a quick, fast, easy sale sometimes. And so, but they're at a premium. And so it's all about knowing which type of lead you're going after and then investing in that model and making sure that it has positive ROI through refinement.
Great point. So whenever we talk to agents all the time, we talk about now and future business, right? So if someone's getting into the business and they have to earn immediately, the type of lead and the type of conversion and the type of relationship they have to go after is a more expensive and more refined process than if you have time to build a relationship with them in the future business.
Absolutely.
So what we teach people is to have both.
Yeah.
And so whenever people come into the business to start with, some people really have an intensity on the now side of what they're doing. And then some people are okay with it and they can build the future business. But unfortunately, what they do is they walk into a real estate office or they get a coaching person or whatever, and they say, well, here's the one size fits all. Here's how you make this happen. And then the person's trying to convert future business with now philosophies and so again, when the first couple of times I talked to you guys, I mean, Justin and I talked and we're like, man, they just absolutely get it.
Yeah.
You guys are so ahead of what you do, and from your real estate knowledge, because you guys don't have a 50 years worth of real estate knowledge, right?
Well, we have this saying that's called R&D, rip off and duplicate. No, I mean, but it's so true. We model the best, and if you model the best, you're gonna win because you're doing what. Because I think it's Tony Robbins who says success leaves clues.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely that same thing. Like if I want to be jacked like Justin, I do the same things he does. I eat two eggs every morning and have a banana.
I hate you.
And do CrossFit, and I'll be jacked. And so success is success actually when it comes down to like the main parts, it's easy. It's easy to understand. It's hard to implement. It's hard to execute. And that's just, it comes to accountability and having the right people in your life and having the right brokers in your life and just executing on what you know. But the how-tos, like if you want to figure out how to build a Facebook ad, come talk to me. I'll teach you how to generate leads for free. There's thousands of ways to generate tons of leads for free on Facebook. Doing open houses, shouldn't cost you money, especially if you're a new agent. You don't need to be buying everybody bagels and coffee. You can if you want.
Right.
But I wouldn't. I would just put out a sign-in sheet and say, please come to my open house, have a couple signs out branding myself, and try to just meet people.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But the key with all of everything that you just said and what you guys are really, really good at is consistency.
And being active.
Yeah, because people can be really, really hot on something for a couple weeks. We've seen it with
yeah.
clients and agents and whatever.
Yep.
It's like, people get hot to trot on a certain thing, and then
Right.
all of a sudden it's like, well, now this is tough.
Right.
Like now that it's hard, I don't know that I want to do this.
Right.
Well, it's funny you say that because my Instagram sucks right now. And
Go check out Jason's Instagram.
We started a digital marketing company, right? And it's like people are like, "Why does your Instagram suck?" You're like a digital media guy, and it's because like I focus on the things that give us results like as soon as possible, and eventually I'll have a system in place for my Instagram, but it's not a priority. I would rather prioritize things that actually can generate business and get me results and focus on the other stuff later. Because I spend so much time and energy on the stuff that's getting us results that I just don't have time for the rest.
Well,
That's a great point.
It's one would be focusing on you and your brand as opposed to focusing on your clients and that return. So I think that your priorities are in the right place. So if somebody's judging you based on how your Instagram looks, tell them to.
Well,
Easy.
Yeah.
We want it PG-13.
Well, I mean, some agents.
Sorry, I get defensive about my voice.
I know, right?
I think some agents fall into that trap of, everything has to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like everything
yes.
has to just be like, I have to look perfect online. I have to have all my reviews. I have to do all this. And they're trying to act like, a 10-person team. And, and it's just, you're not going to compete. There's no way you're a new agent or you're 3 years in or you're 5 years in. You're one person. You have to figure out what you're really good at. You have to figure out what you're able to do. And you just have to execute.
And put it out there, man.
Yeah.
I find it comical, like when we know agents or we know entrepreneurs, and the person that I know well is such and such, and then on Instagram, totally different person. It's like, dude.
Well, y'all talked about that with the 30 under 30.
Yeah.
You and Lewis talked about that that all of a sudden these people have these videos rolling up in front in this rented
driving
car
up in a Bentley,
and going up in front of the listing, and the owner's looking out the window. Who's that taking a video in the front yard?
Like, bro, you don't even own a car, man. What are you doing?
I heard that somewhere this week, where that's a big popular thing in Miami. You'll have these guys renting out a Lamborghini for a day. They'll rent it out for a day, and then the car will get ruined because they don't know how to drive it.
Yeah, they're just burning the clutch up.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's just like
people are trying to live the lifestyle, not actually living it right.
I just cannot stand that thought process. I know so many people. I don't know so many people. I know people that live in, a smaller house, and then right out front there's a freaking Bentley. And I'm like,
yeah, why would you do that?
It's probably a lease, which is fine.
Right.
But invest that in your company. Invest that in yourself. Invest that in passive income. People get stuck in certain spots or in certain wealth categories in their entire life because they make poor decisions on a daily basis. And that starts with your $10 Starbucks every morning, as opposed to investing that back into yourself or investing that in passive income.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Those types of passive incomes or investing in yourself pay off huge. But you know what? You don't get that immediate gratitude.
Right. Have you guys ever heard of Mr. Beast?
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay, so right now, this is really cool. This is relevant, so I like this. This is relevant. Okay, so PewDiePie, he has like 90 million subscribers on YouTube right now, which is the number one, or maybe the number 2 channel right now, because he probably just got beat by T-Series. I don't really know. But anyways, this is super fast. I'll get to the point. Mr. Beast did YouTube videos for like 3 years without getting any traction, like whatsoever, like no traction. He was doing like Minecraft videos, video game videos. He was doing like review videos. He would do like stupid things where he would like read every word in a dictionary. He would count to like 1,000,000. He would say PewDiePie like 1,000,000 times. Or it was like ridiculous stuff. And so finally he blew up. And so now he has one of the biggest channels on YouTube, and which that means that you're killing it. You're making a ton of money and you're getting a lot of clout and a lot of traction. But that just shows you like, dude, do it consistently over time. Like just hit your face against the wall as many times as it takes to like get stuff done. Like,
and for the right reason.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Don't do it for other people. Do it because it's you.
Oh, I know where I was going with that. So investing into yourself. So he, even after he made money, like it was probably a year ago, he didn't spend a lick of it. Didn't spend a dime of it. He would just reinvest it back into the videos. And so that's how you get the videos of like, I gave $10,000 to a homeless man or something like that. And so he took all that money and just put it right back into his business. I'm not saying that's the wisest decision. Right. I'm just saying it kind of goes to your point of like, if you're willing to reinvest into yourself, into your business, it has that compound effect rather than, you know, just hoarding it or spending it on stupid stuff.
Right.
It's just funny how media and TV shows you all that stuff. It's like you see these guys pull up and, you know, Range Rovers and all that. And
convinces you to be something that you're not, which from a business standpoint is really dangerous.
Oh, it's a slippery slope, big time.
So again, all the people that we talk to, who you advertise has to show up to the appointment. Yeah. Who you advertise has, and so if you don't even know who you truly are, you're not going to be able to deliver any kind of consistent level of service because your faults and how you're looking at things. So so leads and lead conversion, right? So we want to. So let's talk about lead conversion a little bit, because you said there was a bunch of different opportunities with, you know, open houses. Somebody walks in, you got the nosy neighbor, you got the right. Okay, so how do you develop? You said listening to the customer. So how do you develop? You know, we talked about scripts and the flexibility of them. How do you develop the script? How do you develop the follow up? How do you develop the things that you do that make a difference? So how'd you come? Across
just knowing the resources available to you. Like, there's so much out there, and you have to be smart. You have to be really quick and make a lot of fast decisions. So, what was the saying? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Right.
So that's so, like, I can't express this enough, because people, if you're going to start a real estate business, because that's what you are. You're not. You're not an employee.
That's right.
Like, Matt is not your boss. Justin is not your boss. You guys are 1099.
Don't listen to him.
You're 1099s, right? Like, they're 1099s. So absolutely. I mean, you are 100% responsible for your taxes.
Success or failure.
You're responsible for your business plan. You're responsible for like, I'm sure you guys supply them with so much. But at the same time, like, they are 100%, like, nobody's going to hold their hand or cuddle them to sleep as they're crying, you know, because they can't pay their bills. Like, like, they 100% have to get a hold of their business plan and sink their teeth into it and say, okay, this is my plan. And there's so much resource out there. And it's so easy to invest in education. Yeah. A lot of it's free. And if you're not working on your systems and your education daily, like, you're way behind the 8 ball. Like, I forget who was it. I think it was Abraham Lincoln said, if you give me 5 hours to you know this one?
To chop down a tree.
Yeah.
I'll take an hour of it to sharpen my axe.
Yeah. You know, so having that just mindset of like, okay, I got to get my education right. You know, I got to get who's my role model, you know? And I'm a big fan of, like, I'm just not going local. Like, yeah, I want to see who the best local agent is.
Right.
I want to see who's, like,
number one. Yeah.
What are they doing out in Arizona? What are they doing out in, like, in New England? Like, I want to see everything. And maybe it's a different market, but people are the same out there. They're there. And this is, like, literally, like, 2 seconds on Google. Like, this is not a lot of hard work. So coming back to leads, there are drip campaigns that you can download for free. If you don't have drip campaigns, come to me. There's CRMs that are pretty affordable.
All right, so pause.
So
So let's talk about CRMs and databases for just a second, because that is absolutely critical, and then we're going to get back to that. Okay.
Yep.
So databases, man, there's like 800 different versions of what you can do, and they are from the most basic, simplest, cheapest ones all the way up through Salesforce and you know. The one that Realtor.com, Top Producer, all of that. I mean, all of those are just. So, what do you use? What do you suggest? What do you think people should do to make sure they
use the one that you're willing to use? I think so many people don't do it because they're, like, afraid of the software.
Right.
They're afraid to learn it, and the only thing I can say is, it's never a waste to learn software, because you'll learn the software, and then it will end up helping you learning the next software. Mm-hmm. And so many people, I think they get into a trap to where they feel like, well, since I don't know it, I'm never going to learn it, and that's okay. I'll just let somebody else do it.
Right.
It's such a bad idea.
Yeah. Right.
I can't tell you how often I'm buried in my computer trying to figure out how to do this one little thing, and it pisses me off. But because I learned it now, it's like really opened up my mind and allowed me to, like, understand how different software work. So everybody comes to me with the questions like, how do you do this? And I'll be like, I don't know. I'll figure it out. So, and I have that now. You don't have to be like that, but you do have to be able to use a CRM. It's not difficult. So I started off with Top Producer. I hated it.
Wow, that's starting off at one of the most complicated, probably.
I hate it. It was awful. It was old. It wasn't very intuitive. Like, to me, like being a millennial, like I just want intuitive software. So I look for those things. Like, look for the things that are gonna help you. Like, can you assign a property alert? Does it connect to a front end lead generation website? Like, those are very important things.
Right.
Can you assign a drip campaign? Can you categorize them simply, not like 12 different buckets? Like, I like simple. Keep it simple, stupid.
So let me ask you, and Justin, I'm going to ask you this too. So I want to get both of y'all's takes on this because I think this is important. So I have agents say all the time, I don't like the letters, or I don't like the content of the drip campaign, or I don't like whatever, and then they want to go in and dig in and roll their sleeves up and make it more completely theirs, right? What are your thoughts on that? How much time should they spend?
No, it's a trap. Do exactly what the CRM is and just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, focus on being a real estate agent. Focus on meeting people. Let the communications, let the emails, let the text, let that just be that, and trust the process. Until you're a master, do not change it.
Okay.
Well, that goes back to what Jason said earlier, and a lot of agents, a lot of really good agents want everything to be super perfect.
Yep.
Right. Everything's got to be perfect throughout the process, and they couldn't be more wrong. Where they need to be perfect and where they need to be dialed in is on the appointments and on the listing appointments and converting those leads. But that's in person. You don't need to be perfect when it comes to the lead gen portion.
Right.
Of
I agree.
that. Yeah. So totally agree with everything.
They need to be perfectly consistent.
Yeah.
Is what they need to be. The more consistent you are, and that's what the tech allows you to do, is allows you to leverage those things. So that's, I know we've talked about that, and we've talked with agents about it and everything. And sometimes I feel like it's an excuse to not do it.
Yeah.
Hey, I really don't, I don't want to get a form letter. I don't want to get some email that whatever, so I don't want to send it out to somebody and everything. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time, and then they get lost in that and convince themselves to not stay connected.
Oh, it's always about rationalization, right?
It is.
I mean, if you can rationalize in your own head why you don't want to do it, guess what? You just made that real.
Right.
Yeah, and you almost have to make it a game to make it fun, to make it enjoyable, or get good accountability partners in your life or something, because you have to get through the busy work. And I get so frustrated because so many agents, like, they just get stuck on the busy work of just like, oh, let me stuff envelopes, or let me look here and do that. No, like, hustle your butt off through the busy work. Like, just get it done. Like, it does not have to be perfect. Just get it done. And then go meet somebody. Go talk to somebody. Go interact with people.
Have a schedule and stick to it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, you do your prospecting in the beginning of the day.
That's right. Energy's high.
And then it's done. And then you can go do the things that you actually like doing. So if you do the shit that you don't like at the beginning, then do it.
Eat the frog first.
Yeah, just get done with the crap and just go have fun. Like, being a real estate agent should be the best, most exciting career.
That's the most devastating thing to me, is whenever people get into real estate and they wanted to get into it for a flexible schedule, and they wanted to get into it for unlimited income, and they wanted to get into it for a lot of reasons, and then they don't allow themselves to have those things because they get overwhelmed in the minutia. Instead of just saying, hey, look, I know I got to do these things, I got to get that done, and then let me enjoy the part of this that I truly wanted to enjoy. Let me go connect with people. They like showing houses, but yet they turn out that that they want to be an expert on their database.
I think this always goes back to mindset, right? It goes back to, are your goals big enough? So, like, me and Ben, what's the saying? Dude, I have all these little sayings. This is just the way I think on a daily basis.
Mine, man. It's good.
You know what? If you aim for the stars, you can settle for the moon.
Yep.
And so our goals, me and Ben's goals, were so big, right? We were so, like, focused on what we wanted. Like, my handle on Xbox, don't make fun of me, guys, is JBaby1Bill, right? Because, like, I want to hit 1 billion. Like, I just say that to myself, and I have that mindset, and I build my life in that way. Even if I don't hit it, I'll settle for being a millionaire.
Right.
I'm okay with that. And so, but my goals are so big, and you guys might say, oh, he's selfish, or he's vain, or all he wants is money. And that's not true at all. I want to take care of my kids. I want to be able to put my kids through college. I want to be able to feed my family no matter what. I don't want my mom, living on freaking food stamps or something like that. Like, I'm that type of person. Like, I want to take care of the people around me. I have huge goals. So me and Ben, we set out together, right? Like, bam, okay, this is how we're going to do it. We figured this thing out in no time because our goals are so big. We're focused on the...
This was just a little blurb.
Yeah.
This was just a little bump in order to get where you were going.
Well, and that's not to just oversimplify real estate, because real estate is extremely complicated, and people crush it in real estate and become millionaires and billionaires in real estate. But for us, it was like, okay, how do we master this so we can master the next thing and master the next thing and master the next thing? And we didn't master it. I think we maybe got to like 60, 70% competency, right? But at least it was enough to like, okay, we wrapped our heads around that in a sense of like, now how can we serve people around us? And that's always our mindset. So even as a real estate agent, master the game of real estate, but how do you serve the people around you? Because that's the only way you're going to win like long term.
Right. Yeah, I'm all about that, man. I mean, that's huge. I talk about that on my Instagram a lot, on my little daily vids. But it's something that, if you can set your dream, and a lot of people have big, lofty dreams, but the difference between the people who are big dreamers who want to, be successful and attain a certain number, and the people who don't, is that little bit of extra work in between. People actually stop in there. It's like ready, set, like we talked about with Lorna Short. And there's no go there. And the go has always been with you guys. The moment I met you, I knew it.
Well, that's why with all our clients, we always start with why. And that book, Simon Sinek, Start With Why.
Great book.
We get that because it's like, for us, it's like, if I just like close my eyes and just get a mental picture, what can get me just so like that emotion, that like either pissed or like elated or ecstatic or something, right? And every time, and a lot of times we tell people to have like a dream board or have like something in their Google Drive that they can go back and look at or something like that. And that's it. If you get that, you can plow through the BS of your day real fast and go do what you got to do.
Yep.
But the interesting point that comes from when you actually talk with a client about their why, you avoid the big pitfalls. You avoid clients and people that are going to bring you down. Because all you're doing is you're criteriizing, like you're making these people part of your life, and you're becoming part of theirs, and it's an interesting like tumble,
right? And
you avoid all the BS.
Oh yeah,
Well,
so let's talk about Allison Levine for just a second, okay?
Yeah.
Because climbing Everest, and we're not gonna blow up the book if you haven't read the book. Absolutely fantastic book, okay? But so here's what she talked about. On Everest, on certain parts of Everest, in order to take one step, you have to take 10 breaths.
Yeah.
On oxygen. I had no idea. Okay, so what she was saying is that if you focus at your feet, if you look down, the step that you take is a smaller step.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing out in front of you, doing the things that you need to do. And it's not that you won't stumble. It's not that you can't trip. It's not that you might not take a small step by accident, and those 10 breaths be wasted because you didn't take as big of a step as you could have. But you're feeling that you're closer to what your goal is.
Yeah.
Instead of just looking down and not having any attention on it. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Focusing on the goal, not worrying about the stumble, not worrying about the 10 breaths that you have to take, but looking forward to what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and that's how you get to the top of Everest, right?
Yeah.
All right. So number one was, you said that you had to have the mindset. Number two was database, right? And I cut you off.
Yeah, CRM database. Right. Okay, so obviously you need to have a way to remember people, because really, and we tell people this, you have to become a human relationship expert, like 100%. So the only way to do that is to be in the driver's seat of every relationship that you have.
This is the key.
And the only way to do that is to keep as many mental notes on everyone. Like, even if you are like Ben, my business partner, and he has a great memory, like he's not going to remember everything about everyone. And remembering things about people is the secret sauce when it comes to building relationship with them. Remembering their birthday, remembering their kid's graduation day, or whatever, whatever. Like, you are a human relationship expert. If you see yourself more as like a local pastor or a local barbershop guy, you're going to be a lot more successful. I think too many agents are like, I just want to show homes, or I just want to help people stage homes, or I'm an expert negotiator. And like that's all lies. Like, it's the only thing that's going to make you money is being a human relationship expert, like getting to know people.
That's a great point. Let me pull something from a little bit of history on something here. So I was meeting with a group of team leaders. I was kind of proctoring a situation for them, and there was probably 10 team leaders sitting around this table, and I said, okay, here's what I need you to do. What sets you apart compared to anyone else? What do you do better than anyone else? I need you to write it down on a piece of paper. You can write down 2 of them if you want to write down 2 of them. And I said, we're going to go around in just a second, and we're going to talk about it. You don't have to give away any secrets or anything, but we're going to talk about it. But I need you to write it down on a piece of paper.
Yep.
So they all wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I said, okay, so let me tell me what it is that you do that's better than everybody else. We got maybe 4 people down. And everybody thought that they were so much better at everybody else than all of these different things. And everybody says, oh, well, I do that, and I do that, and I do that. And of all of these top producers, they had at least heard of everything that everyone else had done. So if you truly want to set yourself apart, it's not just what you're good at and your delivery of it, but it's knowing how that applies to the person that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And so you have to get to know them in order to be able to apply those things that you're great at. Because if you're great at photography and you absolutely love it and everything, and I push how great I am at photography to somebody that's a high analytical that doesn't care, that's focused on the numbers, guess what?
Yeah.
I just lost that listing. I just lost that buyer. And so the database, getting all that information compiled in one place, absolutely huge, absolutely critical.
And you got to trust the software, because a lot of times you'll put in a note, and you'll come back to it like, 2 months later, and you'll be like, what was that conversation? Or who were these people? And just trust the CRM and act like you talked to that person yesterday.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just got to trust the process and just hop right into it, even if you don't remember them.
Yeah.
And just go for it.
Yeah.
So
cool.
CRM, generating leads. Where else did you want to go?
So that brings me to what I believe their core competency is in terms of Palm Media is one thing because they're lead genning there, but their core competency when it comes to selling real estate is taking a very impersonal process where there's internet leads and turning it into a very, very personal process. So I promise you that if you ever talk to any of the Spears Circle past clients or current clients, I can assure you that they know Ben and Jason in and out, backwards and sideways.
Yep.
So what they're really good at is the moment a lead pops up, Ben's immediately on the phone with them, and he is a master on the phone.
Right.
But the first thing that he wants to do is he wants to get in front of them. And what he's really, really good at is getting in front of somebody and creating that bond. And he creates a similarity right away. It's like, okay, well, he's kind of, look them up and down, understands them really quick. So,
well, let me just say this so somebody doesn't get discouraged because they're like, oh, I'm not a master on the phone. That's not, you don't need to be a master on the phone to convert leads. Ben, what he's really good at is just cutting to the chase and cutting out the steps that aren't really necessary. He's really good at that. So if Ben, and he just has that dogged mindset. I don't know how else to explain it. He's like that with everything, with golf, with everything. Chiropractic,
not with golf.
And so, but and I know the reason that he's a doctor and got through medical school is because he just knows how to cut out the fat and just do the most essential things first.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to. When you get somebody on the phone, you're not thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about the script. You're not thinking about the home. You're not looking up all the facts on the MLS or all.
Right.
This has been. I'll give this away, and maybe everybody's gonna hate me for this or hate Ben for this, but. Ben would get a lead, and we knew where it was coming from. So Realtor.com or Facebook or whatever. Before he even looked up the home, right? He's calling the person.
Yeah.
Back, okay? Because a lot of people, I think they'll do a bunch of research and call somebody in 20 minutes.
They do.
No, that's a lie. Call them right away. Yeah, as soon as you get somebody on the phone, they're just a normal person.
You're just gaining rapport.
Yeah.
Right.
So you get them on the phone, and then what Ben's doing is he's setting the appointment. With the customer before he even books a showing time appointment. Yeah. So he's just going out on a limb because he can fix it later, right? If they don't have a showing or if it's owner occupied or something like that, or if they don't have a time slot or they have pets or what, he'll figure it out. But go ahead and say, okay, does tomorrow work? What works for your schedule? Okay, let's go show it. I'll schedule the appointment right now. We're confirmed. And even if he has to show up on the curb and say, hey, sorry, we can't get in the property, at least he's meeting the person.
And that's the big part. So that's the difference between that less than 1% lead conversion rate and that over 10% is that he creates that initial bond. And he knows that if he meets somebody in person, he's going to be himself, and they're going to like who he is because he's so authentic and vulnerable. Right. And a lot of people have trouble doing that because they put their jacket on and they're very tight and rigid and they're very nervous about the appointment. Whereas if you just took the time to, lead conversion-wise, just meet the person as fast as possible in person and then be yourself, you're going to convert a lot more leads.
And can I just say this because this is my biggest pet peeve, is when people say, oh, I got to protect my brand. And it's like, you don't have a brand. Berkshire has a brand. Berkshire has like one of the best brands in the whole world, right?
Yeah.
You as an agent, you do not have a brand unless you're like a top producer, like 60, 70, units in. But like you as an individual agent, for you to show up, if you're not like totally perfect, and you say maybe a slightly off-color joke every once in a while, just to, like, get them to laugh. Like, dude, you can be a normal person. Yeah. Just be yourself. Don't always be like, I can't laugh because I have to protect my brand. People have to think I'm the most professional.
There's a lot of real estate people that try to focus the agent on building their own brand because the brand that they have isn't as solid of a brand, or they're not spending money on that brand, or it's not so they kind of push them in that direction. But let's we're going to go back to the leads for just a second, okay? Man, we're not getting off of this. So every time you guys start talking about this, I keep saying, okay, I got to bring this up because this is critical. You guys have a 10% conversion on leads. So Chris Stewart talked about.
I think it was like a 3-month stretch where we hit like 10%, which if anybody's in real estate for very long, you can't keep that up because you go through like the off months,
right?
And people just aren't ready to like buy. But yeah.
So that's very nice and considerate that you gave yourself a humble out there, but I'm not gonna let you off the hook like that because 10% is killer. And here's the reason why. So last year, the big names bragged about delivering 100 million leads to real estate agents. Okay, we only sold 4.7 million homes last year.
And we,
as an industry,
exactly.
Period. All the reported homes that were sold was 4.7, 4.8 million homes, something like that. Okay, so let's say there's a little bit more than that. So that means 100 million leads were delivered. That doesn't take from the big names. That doesn't take into account the people whenever they bought the neighbor's house and didn't tell anybody. When so and so bought
Phantom
mom
inventory.
and that's exactly right. So those houses still transferred, but those are still part of those numbers. So what that means is that those leads are being sold 20 times to somebody.
Right.
20 times before that. If all of those are converted in that 4.7 or 5 million number or whatever it is, which they're not, but if all of those were in there, that means somebody's selling a lead to 20 different agents.
Yeah. Before
that lead turns into a transaction. Okay. And so you guys are killing it. And so out of every 100 leads, you're closing 10 of them. That is huge.
Yeah.
To put it in perspective. So whenever you guys are saying it's about being genuine, it's about being connected, it's about listening to the customer first, it's about getting the appointment. And this isn't just real estate, okay? Because people are buying leads in a whole bunch of different places, right? They get leads from all over the place. Everything that y'all have talked about, everything all the other guests have talked about, has all boiled down to it'll help any entrepreneur if they're focused on putting the customer first.
Yep.
Which is what everybody said.
Yep.
All right, so I'll quit banging the leads.
Yeah, generating leads it's so important, and you have to figure out how to do it on your own. And if you don't, call me, talk to me. I'll give you like 5 things you can do today. But generating leads is kind of like your lifeline. It's your bloodline, right? You want that fresh kind of like thing to stimulate your business. But the fortune's in the follow-up. Like I would turn on an ad, get 10 leads, turn off the ad, and just cultivate those leads. And if you're overwhelmed with everything else, because there's so many ways and so many things you can do to cultivate leads and to take that relationship deeper. Like if you meet, a nosy neighbor in a neighborhood, I know that nosy neighbor probably knows freaking everybody in the neighborhood. Yeah. And if I become that lady's best friend or she likes me, then she's going to talk to me about all her friends ready to buy or sell. And so I think so many people are like, oh, that lead didn't convert. And it's like, well, number one, what's your definition of conversion?
Right? 100%.
Like just because it didn't lead to just because it didn't lead to a closing or money in the bank,
a lead doesn't mean a transaction.
And it doesn't mean that your business isn't growing. I think so many people are looking just at the numbers on the. But any other business, and you know this, any other business you go out to in the world, besides real estate, they run the profit margin, like the profit and loss, like they're black, or like negative for the first 5, 6, 7 years.
Absolutely.
Because they know they're reinvesting, and they're still expanding. Like YouTube, like they say, is still not turning a profit or whatever, but it's huge, it's growing. And so your business, like with your network and your referrals and all that stuff, you're laying the foundation as you go. And so consistency is so important. But the way that you get that fast cash is figure out how to get in front of the people that are like ready to buy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 50% of businesses fail within their first 2 years. Restaurants, it's even higher than that. And so, you know, agents get into the business, and they get into the business, and they want the part that is convenient for them. Sometimes they want it to be like a business, right? The freedom, the flexibility, all that kind of stuff. But the part that they want to be an employee is them getting paid. You know, they want to not have to reinvest at a high level. You know, a restaurant has to reinvest. The profit margins in a restaurant, as an example, are 3%, 5%, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to invest at least 30%,
Absolutely.
right? On top of taxes.
Absolutely, on top of taxes.
Yeah,
that's
so,
exactly right.
So, I mean, and a lot of people, like, they just don't have room in the budget to reinvest, and that's where you just reinvest your time and your effort and, like, do the things over and over and over that you don't want to do. We went for, like, maybe a 4-month period, I swear to God, that we put up open house signs, and every time it rained for, like, the 2-minute window that I was putting up open house signs. And, like, I was okay with that because I knew that, man, I am earning this, you know, and I'm not going to let this deter me because I have big goals. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Wallace Waddle said, you know, success isn't just doing certain things, it's doing certain things in a certain way. And so you have to be consistent with those things. You got to put the sign out whether it's raining or not. I thought for sure you were going to say somebody stole your signs every time.
Oh, we've had signs stolen, yeah. A lot.
Stolen,
we've
the
had
county picks them up.
We've had a cop
agents.
bust other agents for stealing our signs, and
Yeah.
they're like sitting there in the garage, and we're like, "What the heck, dude?" You're like, "We've done it all."
So I had somebody doing it. This is just as fun stuff here, but you know, I had somebody doing an open house in a neighborhood, and they advertised it and everything, making a big deal out of this. They put their sign out, and another agent literally comes in and puts a sign in front of theirs and behind
I
theirs,
love it.
all within, sandwiches it within
I
like a
love
foot of
it.
it. She takes a picture of it and sends it to me, and I said, "That is freaking awesome."
Yeah.
That's how you know you're killing it somewhere, is when somebody will do something
Dude,
like that.
and where's that's why having big dreams is so important, because it gives you thick skin. Because like, let's say if somebody leaves a nasty comment on one of my Facebook posts, because all our ads and all our posts are designed to generate a lead. So like, some people aren't happy about, like, oh, I can't see more photos, or I was just wanting to see all the photos, because a lot of agents just give all that information. And so for us, it's designed to build that lead, or to generate that lead. And so somebody might comment like, "Oh man, you guys are jerks for, you know, blah, blah, blah." And we're just like, all right, delete that comment, or respond to them and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. If you want more information, click here, blah, blah." Like, we do not get deterred, like,
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
Like, and that's
Good.
it. If you guys don't think you're in a sales industry and like, you're like, you have to get a sale to get a closing, like, good luck. You can pander around all you want. We're going for the business, you know? So people
The
might think less of me.
business.
People
The
might think less of me for
business.
saying that, but it is what it is. Like, if you're not willing
like
to put yourself in a position to win,
Yep. And do what you need to.
you got to do what you
Hey,
don't
when the
be
game is on the line, the winner wants the ball, man.
be ethical.
You got to.
Always be ethical. Always put the customer first. Always. But there's that line where, yeah, they want to see more photos of the home, or they want to see my open house, right? I've turned people away from seeing the open house because they wouldn't sign it. And it's like, well, no, this is like the way that I'm, like, create business for myself. And I say, you know, the seller requested for security purposes
Absolutely, yeah.
for you to sign in. And at that point, they're like, okay, that's fine. I don't have to see the home. And that's okay. You know, but
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people would be like, oh, you know, you can see the home,
Yeah.
you know, and different things like that. And it's about having those standards for yourself and really, like,
Well, all you gotta
taking
say
your business
is,
seriously.
Well, give me your email address and I'll send you the photos.
Exactly. It's a very
Problem
simple
solved.
game. And that person, honestly, has more respect for you.
Yep.
And it's an opportunity to build a relationship with that person.
Absolutely.
Like, it happens all the time.
Well, everyone claims that they want to be a winner, but very, very few are actually able to follow through with that, because
Absolutely.
being a winner sounds glorious and it sounds enlightening, it sounds fame enriching, it sounds like all these things that are going to justify everything inside your mind and
Yep.
in your heart. But when it really comes down to it, there are very few winners for a reason, because it ain't easy.
Right.
And
Who is it? Eric Campbell, Ben? Who's the guy who you always listen to? Short black guy?
Kevin Hart? Is it Kevin
No.
Hart?
He says
of comedians.
everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what beasts do.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
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 Eric Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that just couldn't be more true, though, especially in real estate. You know, I see people every day, you know, come in and say that they either want it or
Oh, yeah.
claim that they want it, and I can tell just by looking at you in your eyes, whether you want it or not. Like, I've been around this business and I've been around people enough and studied people enough and to understand the difference. And there is a massive difference.
There is.
Massive difference.
What level of game do you want to play at?
Yeah.
What level of game do you... Sorry, all right, you got to tell me about this. You popped it open. I've looked at it 2 or 3 times. It's going to be on the camera. I'm going to be looking at it, staring at it funny. Everybody's going to see it. What is that?
It's an energy drink.
No.
What he's talking about in specific is, I don't know if you can get that, Ben, is this popper topper.
It's a brand new thing. You guys should go try it out. Mountain Dew. Anyways, getting back to this.
No, man, you can't do that. So this thing closes back up. That is awesome. Did you get that? That's freaking awesome, man.
What were you going to say?
All right, go ahead.
So you guys are a perfect example of this. But my first broker, well, my second broker, my mom was my first broker. But my second broker, his name is Ray Mahara. Shout out to that guy. Really took us in and gave us a shot. But he would always be at the office at like 6 a.m. And I respected that. But on the flip side, I was always at the office until like midnight, right, or 1 o'clock, and we caught each other like that. I think a couple times he left when like late, and he was like, "You're still here?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, man!" And then I came in early, and I was like, "Dude, how'd you get here so early?" And so like we had that common respect. Like he had the morning shift, I had the night shift, but it was like people that are successful, you just put in. You put in the hours and like it's pretty simple when it all boils down to it. Like, are you committed to your business? Like, yeah, you have families, you have to spend time with your family, you have to make them a priority, but there's moments in the day that you can win back and like create a successful business and have standards for yourself. Like, if you don't want to work weekends, don't work freaking weekends, but you better be hammering out some effing work
the rest of the week.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. I can remember being at my office and falling asleep at my desk. And people walking in the morning, coming to work and waking me up.
Well, let's dive into this for a couple seconds here too, because I think you brought up an interesting topic that I agree and partly disagree with.
I love it. Finally, the disagreement, man. I was been waiting for this.
Yeah,
Brokers Open need to take a turn on this pocket nonsense.
So, what I'm really big on is being
that's
very.
Enough of this for him, by the way.
You got to be very.
The
specific.
coffee finally kicked in.
Will you guys shut up?
Oh, here it really comes down.
No, I'm all about putting the hours.
Thanks for watching this episode.
I swear to God, I'm going to reach across this. No, I'm all about putting the hours in, but it's about the quality of hours versus quantity, because I know so many people that want to spend 50, 60 hours a week working. Well, what the hell is working? What does working mean to you? Because I guarantee you're not working at the clip that I'm working at.
Yeah.
So that, 5 hours that I put in this for lead gen, or I'm doing whatever it might be, it might take you 15 hours to do what I just did. And so if you can be really, really efficient with your time, then you can spend time with your work-life balance.
Yeah.
There's a difference. It doesn't always, I am a huge, I'm opposition-wise with people who say you got to put in 60 hours a week. I don't believe in that. I don't.
It goes back to Eat the Frog, right? That Brian Tracy
Absolutely.
book. Like I know I put a lot of hours in, but it's basically because I can and because I'm a single guy. But I know that like 2 or 3 hours of that day is my most focused, most productive work.
And that's where your money's coming from.
Oh yeah, if I just worked those 2 or 3 hours and I went home for the rest of the day, I would be fine. Like my business would be fine, everything would be okay. Like some stuff would not get done as well as it could, but like those are my focused hours. Those are my intense hours. And so yeah, to that point, like eat the frog, like get the hard stuff done whenever I call it your Einstein moment. Whenever you're like most like everybody has that focus at a certain time of day.
Right.
Get it done and then move on to whatever else you got to do.
If people were really, really hypercritical about what they actually do minute by minute during the day, it would shock people, because they're like, "Oh, I'm busy as hell right now." It's like, no, you're not.
It's a lie.
You're not. So, all you're doing is you're trying to trick your mind into thinking that you're actually doing something.
The first coach that I had that really rolled their sleeves up and dug into what I was doing as a manager and a broker owner. The first thing that she did is she had me write down everything that happened during the day for a week.
Yeah.
And so minute by minute, the first day I was pissed.
Yeah.
The stuff that I wrote down, I was just so distracted, and it made me mad enough where I called and said, "Hey, look, I get it," and all that kind of stuff and everything. And she was like, "No, I don't think you do. We'll talk. We'll talk next Monday. Keep writing that stuff down." And so two things happened. One is it pissed me off because the time wasn't as efficient as it could have been. Secondly, the biggest thing that I ran into was the things I was spending time on were things that I allowed to happen that I knew shouldn't be happening. Yeah. So that bothered me. And then the third thing that happened was the stuff that I got that I really needed to focus on. It allowed me to understand there was conversations that were coming up. There were things that were happening that it allowed me that I was spending a little bit of time on those, and I knew if I spent more time on those, it would help me out. And over the next couple of weeks, we restructured some of that, and it made all the difference in the world. And to this day, I still, if I feel like I'm having that bad day or that bad week, I'll start writing stuff down. I've got Post-its. If anybody's ever seen my desk, right? My office is clean when I leave. Okay, I've got Post-its though, and the Post-its, some of them will be there a month and a half or something like that, and other ones don't make it the whole day. Yeah. But it allows me to stay focused on that, and I color code them so that if I see a lot of a certain color, I know that there's certain things that I'm not doing. Yeah. And so the biggest thing that she did is she helped me exactly what you were talking about, making sure I was staying focused on the things that I need to stay focused on instead of just wasting my time with the stuff that just happens to come up that day. Yeah. Versus actually dealing with my business.
Well, too many people don't want to do the right things right now. When you need to do something, you know what, I'm going to get it done right now, as opposed to, other people will try to push that off. It's like, I'm going to get to that a little bit later. And guess what? A little bit later turns into tomorrow, and then tomorrow turns into the next day.
And the most successful people, big.
Yeah, and the most successful people I know, crank it out. Do it right now, because you know what? You're going to be the most efficient at it right now. You're going to be the sharpest at it right now. Just do it. Well, and once you get in that habit, it's easy.
That's a perfect example for call reluctance, right? Because you're following up with leads. You put them in your CRM, and you're like, okay, I got to make 10 calls today. The CRM is telling me I need to make 10 calls. Yep. Instead of just like hopping right in and just doing it, and just saying, all right, I'm just going to do this. A lot of people go, well, let me think about it, or let me do a little research, or let me look this guy up on Facebook. Right. All right, you start really kind of reeling back, and
instead of
just make the calls, get it over with, and you're done.
So many times people want to hear from you. If you have any kind of genuine connection at all, you can call somebody up and make their day just by connecting with them, but we get so focused on what we think is happening with that call. I don't want any of my agents or any entrepreneur ever calling up and going, hey, you got to do business with me right now. Do it. And you tell me all the people that you need to. We got to do this right now. That's not what we're looking for.
Drive me nuts.
We're calling up and saying, hey, how's stuff going? Don't forget, I'm in the business. Hey, how's stuff going? Let me know if there's anything I can do. Here's some value. What is it that I can help you out with?
Well, as soon as you create those raving fans, the people that love you and care about your success as much as you do. Like, I met with a buyer, a good friend of mine, but he wasn't committed to me, and sometimes he would just, you could think, or you could wonder if he could just use somebody else, and absolutely. So what I did is I got an appointment with him, treated it like a super important buyer's meeting, and we did the whole buyer's process. Afterwards, we played video games. Caught up, went and hung out, got some wings, just chilled, hung out as friends. Then a couple days later, I called him up. I was like, dude, how's everything going? Blah, 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 blah. Hey, bro, connect me to your parents because I know they're looking. I want to get another deal this year. Right? So, I put the pressure on him, and he's like, absolutely. I'll get them connected to you. And I was like, oh, and also, give me any tips or recommendations on the way that I should communicate to them or talk to them, because I really want to make it a good thing for them and let them know that I take my career very seriously. And so, things like that, now he's on my side trying to sell his parents to get his parents to work with me. That's the leverage that you have building relationships.
You create brand endorsers every time, and that's something I talk about a lot. Is creating brand endorsers. You're not creating clients. You're creating brand endorsers.
Right. Agreed. And the next transaction is embedded in your current transaction. You do a fabulous job on this. People are going to tell other people about it, all that kind of stuff. Absolutely. You should be able to do a lot of business out of how well you do the business right now is going to turn into a lot of other business later. And that's the, a lot of real people get into real estate, and they want to fast forward their career 5 years because they heard or saw of an agent. They got a phone call, and the person said, oh my gosh, we work together and we're friends, and you got to come list my house and sell it. We need to move. And so the newer agents are waiting on that phone call, and what they realize is they haven't paid that forward with the person. And experienced agents, if they haven't stayed connected, I was in a meeting the other day, And one of the people started talking and said, "Oh yeah, I'm dealing with so and so and everything." And another agent said, "Oh well, I know so and so. I sold him a house, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that." And so that creates a split second of an awkward moment there, because now the person is looking for somebody new to help them out versus the person that I know did a fantastic job with them to start with.
Yeah.
And so which kind of leads into one last part here. So marketing. We talk about all the time, what is changing in the market. And so in my opinion, one of the big things that's changing, and I want to hear what y'all think about this. I mean, marketing is not what it used to be. Marketing, used to, you could put something out there and people would, decide that they needed something close to what you were looking for, and they'd pick up the phone and they'd call. I just don't see it that way anymore. I don't think that marketing works that same exact way.
You mean
anymore.
marketing the home or the agent?
Marketing the home or the agent, or
Marketing in general.
marketing Mountain Dew. I mean, it's not like that. It's not like that anymore. You put it out there, and the people do the research.
Yeah.
The people go and connect. And so, if an example, if Mountain Dew, advertises, and you have friends that know that you like this, they're not going to just go buy this to try it. They're well enough connected with you that they're going to call you and say, "Hey, I know that you drink that. Do you actually like that?" And so there's that extra step now, which is the social proof that they needed before, or that they didn't necessarily need before. They just went and did it themselves, but everything is at their fingertips. What do y'all think of that? Have I lost my mind?
No, I think you have to find a way to create a buzz, and the only way to do that is by going hard after underpriced attention. And what I mean by that is like go to the negative space in the market, flood it with you, so where you're the only thing that exists in that cavity of the market. Create a buzz for yourself, and then that will rapidly expand. So, like if I had a new energy drink, the number one thing, I would have a sick logo, I would design the can, I would have an amazing can, and then I would go and just give it away like at a certain like one spot or like one area, or like Uber launched in San Francisco and they only stayed there for a while. Like stuff like that. You got to create that buzz to where people start hearing rumors of like, oh, what's that? And because people are talking about it and chattering. As soon as you get that going, it's easy to leverage that. So you can do that even as a real estate agent. It's very possible. You go after a certain niche, right? A certain like target area, very, very specific niche. Go after it so hard to where all those people only know you. Right. Either and it can be a marketing gimmick. It can be anything. Either if you're giving away, $500 listings or whatever, just create a buzz, and then exploit that buzz by getting more people on your bus.
Right.
Yeah, totally. I mean that's the beauty of what social media has done with advertising, is that it's completely changed the game in the sense that we're not spending the big dollars on ads that we used to for TV and radio spots. All of a sudden, we're endorsing Jason because he drinks these energy drinks, and guess what? We want his friends and his family to drink those energy drinks, and he is now our brand endorser.
That's right.
We're not trying to pitch this cool thing that this, Jack dude on TV is doing. It's like, no, Jason's my boy. He drinks this, and I'm gonna drink it too. That's social media has changed everything.
Yep. For the best, I believe.
And it's more about what you do. So like Red Bull is a perfect example, because instead of just selling a bunch of commercials and trying to get people to watch their commercials, they go and launch somebody from space. So like it can be a little gimmicky, but like we have people all the time trying to start Facebook groups targeted to a certain location, and then creating some kind of like community based on that. That's a great strategy. So like if you are in Palm Harbor, I know, wink wink, you know what I'm talking about, Donna. But like he could start a Facebook group, right? And he could have I don't know what he's into. Running. He's into running.
And CrossFit.
Yeah, and CrossFit. So he could have a running and CrossFit group on Palm Harbor group, right? So where everybody can talk about maybe gym deals, or they can talk trash about certain CrossFit gyms, or they can do whatever. But then as soon as you start being that buzz maker, and you're creating the conversation, or you're like the guy who does One Bite, like such a genius.
Yeah, David Portnoy. Like
you just go and do stupid reviews or like interviews or like whatever it is. You just create a buzz in your like little thing that's not real estate related. Like just go out there and put in the legwork. It takes a while.
Consistent.
Yeah. But you will do it if you're consistent enough.
All right, boys. Any parting notes?
Yeah. So real quick. So we know we've got one of the top commercial teams in the world coming
Yep.
on,
Yep.
right? We've got the captain coming on. That's all solidified, right?
Yeah.
So we've got an auction guy that's coming on. We've got an entrepreneur.
You're gonna have to keep up with the conversation.
We have 2 top 50 CEOs coming in from they're top 50 in the state of Florida for businesses. They're coming in. We have a huge military guest coming in, number 1 commercial team coming in.
all kinds of stuff.
Super, super awesome guest coming up. I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too.
Making me feel like a sucky guest.
No, bro.
The worst.
No.
Hey, so we want to help, and absolutely, you've helped tremendously today, having this conversation. I mean, there was people asking specifically about this, so we wanted to make sure that we hit on it and everything. And so you're a boss just like usual. Ben, you're a boss just like usual.
If I can just say, if anybody has any questions at all, we are an open book. We don't have any proprietary information. Like, we just give it all away. Like,
Yeah.
it's all Ben, it's me. Just call us. We'll talk to you. We'll give it all.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks, guys, for listening,
All right,
and
as always,
we'll see ya.
see ya.
Peace.